A warm welcome to you wherever it is you're joining us from around the world. This is Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwebike. Right about now, we're going to our newspaper headlines to see what we have today, and after that will be conversation also for this morning. While we do all of that for you, please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise at TV7. With me in the studios to do justice to our newspaper headlines is Achike Chuda. He is the public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome to Enterprise Morning today. And also I have with me in the studios Dr. Victor Ohai. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to Enterprise Morning today. All right, so without much, let's start up the newspaper headlines with our first daily today, coming from the Punch newspaper. And the big story there says Efcc 7,000-man task force goes after dollar racketeers. And the writer there says EFCC summons private university proprietors, companies, orders charging dollar fees, and also government agencies violating laws on forex too. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have Tinubu inaugurates student loan scheme February 21. 500,000 jobs threatened over ban on sachet alcoholic drinks, and that's coming from the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Government approval delays Dangote refinery fuel. Gentlemen, let's start off with the big story. And EFCC is inaugurating 7,000 men as task force to go after dollar racketeers. Isn't this analog in 2023 as a measure to curb forex? Let me start with you, Doctor.
I do not think so. The reason is you cannot spend naira in the US. No one would accept it.
Okay.
I mean, let me how bad it really is. I think it was was it Tunisia or Morocco? I went there for something, and before changing money and all that, what I wanted to buy, I thought I could offer them, dollars instead of. I said sorry. They rejected it. I mean, rejected it. I was shocked. Who does that in Nigeria? You know what I mean? So you go to Britain. You're not going to be spending dollars. It's pounds. You go anywhere, most countries, but we are going the way of Zimbabwe. Where you prefer foreign currency to your own. The pride of your country is your flag, your currency, your coat of arms, the national anthem, and those national symbols. So I think that if this is not stemmed in the bud, we are going to be in trouble very soon. You are just simply saying, I have no confidence in my national currency. That's not right. I mean, who does that? The schools, the hotels, and those institutions that are doing that, what this simply means is the very, very scarce dollars that we could have used perhaps for bringing in raw materials for industry to operate with, a few people will just be keeping them. I know they don't even this is they begin to export them, they move it to outside Nigeria, and it creates a lot of problem for us. So I am very much in support. The only thing I hope is that another industry has not started for EFCC staff.
Ajike, recognizing the ease of doing business in Nigeria, which is a bit difficult, of course, especially now when you can't trust any price you see today in the market. When someone gives you a budget of 10 naira, in the next 30 minutes, it's 15 naira. Don't you think the universities have some light in the fact that they should charge in accordance to the exchange rate as it unfolds every other minute?
The universities, how do you mean? Is it in terms of what exactly?
Because the universities are amongst those that the task force are going after, because they charge some private universities. Yes.
There's a saying, that what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
talking about the law of karma or nemesis catching up with somebody or people. Now the question one should ask is, what is the, because they've been caught in it in their own trap. We also on national television what the president, Tinubu himself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the politicians, many of them are actors right now in this present government. We saw what they are doing with the dollars at the convention of
True.
Of the APC.
Very true.
That's what they are dealing with. That's what they. How many of them spent naira during the last election? It was all about dollars.
True.
Now they've been caught in the vortex of the crisis that they have led, and they're looking for when they're not going after the dollars. And people who are dealing in dollars that they themselves have dealt with. And some of them still continue to deal with. Now it's important because they are at the receiving end. The government is floundering, and people are holding them, the government, responsible, and are charging them with changing the crisis in the country, the crisis of hunger and poverty, the exchange rate regime, negative exchange rate regime, and the rest. And so these are some of the issues. So he who goes to equity must come with clean hands.
True.
The people who want to change the scenario today do not have clean hands, because they have contributed gravely to the spoliation of the economy itself in regards to even the exchange rate.
So with that, how effective do you think this task force?
So this is the issue. Look, it's about what is driving the people that are commissioned to do this. The 7,000 people that you have sent out, how patriotic are they? What visions are they carrying? How do they want to really do their job? Are they there to think of Nigeria more than to think about themselves? When they also know that at the level of the political leadership of this country, the people on whose behalf they are doing this are not better than themselves. So, I mean, therefore, from that perspective, there might not be any serious motivation for them to do the right thing. You know, and the system has been so corrupted that any new opportunities you open in this country is an avenue for people to make money. So, and that's why you see all of these institutions, for instance, security institutions in the country. You know, Fela said something. He said uniform na cloth, na color the maker. You know, so once you see an ordinary person who behaves in an ordinary way, you sew uniform for him, put him in government, and send him out there. He becomes an institution unto himself. So you now use that level that is provided for you by the fact that you have the backing of government to misbehave, you know, and to distort even whatever responsibilities you have been given. So I'm not confident that if these people are being driven by patriotism, by a sense of patriotism, a sense of to do the right thing, it's a different thing. You know, but you see, leadership have to set example. And the Nigerian political elites have not set any meaningful example for even their subordinates to follow. Because the person at the top, they know he's a no-nonsense person, he will not compromise. Therefore, they themselves will not compromise. So I'm not optimistic that even if you go after the universities, you go after all of this, that much will be achieved. Because all what happens, look, the Efcc chairman just told us how corrupt the Efcc is a few weeks ago. Said a lot of them are collecting bribes. So the 7,000 that have been sent out, are they the ones not collecting bribes? So if they are part of the ones collecting bribes, what is the motivation that this time around they are not going to collect bribes, they are going to do their job?
Exactly.
So it's an opportunity that they give you uniform. Even those who do not wear uniform, visible uniform, wearing invisible uniform. EFCC operatives are wearing invisible uniform because they are representing the state. So on behalf of the state, when people have committed crime against the state, they become judge and jury. They have to settle them, otherwise they get into trouble. So I'm not holding my breath that these 7,000 people are going to get these things done. It's just a desperate measure by government, you know, to try to bring about a certain outcome. A certain outcome that even the president of this country has been involved in, and the ministers have been involved in, and the political elites have been involved in. No wonder Babangida in his time, during his dictatorship, said that the problem of Nigerian political leaders, with Nigeria is the elites. Abacha said that in his own time, that the problem of Nigeria is the elites, and Okonjo-Iweala had cause to repeat it.
True. Doctor, at a time in Nigeria when the ease of doing business is becoming cumbersome, we are seeing 500,000 jobs threatened over ban on sachet alcoholic drinks. How do you think this would affect foreign direct investment in the country?
Okay. I'll comment on that, but can we please just add something to what he said?
Please do.
Even without sending the 7,000 people out, I think that to a very large extent, this directive will be implemented. And the reason I say so is that there are the people who pay dollars. There are companies, there are landlords who charge in dollars because they are dealing with certain companies. Those companies will want to comply. They will not want to break the law. I know that the main people who pay dollars, like the oil companies and some of the multinationals, they will comply because it is a law or a directive. Okay, so it's like when Lagos State government said, "Don't take more than 1 year rent." Of course, if you can be doing it on that, but to a very large extent now, most landlords take just a year. Okay. So I think that it is a step better than nothing, and so now as to the issue of the ease of doing business, I don't know if there's any ease in doing business in this country, but we must not lose sight of the importance or the reason why. I don't isolate the fact of doing ease business from the reason why these things have been done. These sachet alcoholic drinks have caused more accidents on our roads than anything else I can imagine. These people, you see them, they wake up in one of the drivers at the parks. That's what they take. A lot of criminals, they go, they take these things, and it has a lot of influence. It's more negative than positive. Okay? Nobody has said ban alcohol altogether.
Okay.
If you must buy the bottle. If you want to sit down and quaff it, if you can, excuse my English, if you can afford it, go ahead and do it. Okay? What they've done is ease of access to alcohol that will cause, it's like cigarette smoking that, they have regulations for it and things like that. So I have no sympathy for the companies that have made these things easy, even for children to have access to. I have no sympathy for them. Let them go back to bottles, and they save our environment as well, because there are environmental issues, there are health issues. This things affect the liver as well. Then there are the issues of the other societal or sociological issues. Okay, for me, these are overriding. I don't think about issue of ease of doing business. That's what I say. I will not go to isolate that. Yes, in Nigeria, it is hell. Doing business. I will take that as a different topic. But in relation to this, that is not the priority for me. And on the issue of foreign direct investment, in relation to this, for me, that is not an issue, because those coming to do business in Nigeria, they have not banned the companies. What they have simply done is simply say, sachet. The only other country again I'm very familiar with, Rwanda. I don't want to talk about ease of doing business here, but in Rwanda, you cannot, no nylon bag. It's paper, your bread, everything, no nylon. You have plastic bags. You don't see it. They're not plastic bags of any sort. You recycle, you get recyclable bags and all that. Your bread, you wrap them in paper and things like that. And no wonder it's one of the cleanest places on the on the continent. We must not let us begin to do things that will help not just our environment but also our health and look at sustainability for the future, for our future generation. I think it is very, very important. Now that is my stance. It may be disappointing, that may not be the answer you want, but that is what I think.
Well, it's okay, it's all good. Well, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria are asking for a reversal of that. Unfortunately.
Well, I want to say this.
Unfortunately.
You see, it's an association. One of its members is complaining. They must be seen to be representing them. They won't just keep quiet. So they're doing what they're expected to do. One of those subscribing and paying their dues is saying, I'll go out of business. But the truth is, if government maintains its stand, they will go back to doing bottles. They will stop those alcohols and those things that are not biodegradable. They will stop them.
Exactly. Yes. All right, so let's move on to the next daily. Today, it is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. We have, of course, the Super Eagles who are in AFCON finals, beat South Africa 4-2 on penalties. And on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have insecurity in the Northwest. Kaduna government blames for poverty, hopelessness, and orders. And also we have we will open reserves to address food costs, and that's coming from the federal government. And also on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, court orders federal government to fix prices of petrol, diesel, orders within 7 days. Achike, we're having another story here. I would call maybe I don't really know how to say this. The federal government is asking that we fix petrol prices, diesel. Why they were the one that removed the subsidy? What are we? Why this conundrum in our economy?
Yeah, you read a few stories. I'll come to that. But there was one you mentioned, because every single day when you go through the dailies, it's all bad news, But at least we had one that at least has united a lot of Nigerians, as it usually does, and that is the issue of the Eagles qualification to the final of the Nations Cup. Obviously, not many people expected the Eagles to get that far. That reminds us of the last time we won the Nations Cup under Stephen Keshi. The boys were on their own. Nigerians didn't give them any hope. And I remember that when Stephen Keshi was interviewed, and somebody, a Nigerian journalist, told him that Nigerians didn't think that they would go too far. We are not really with the boys. Stephen Keshi said it was unfortunate. But so those boys were actually on their own. But they went all the way and won it. So we hope that that will happen. It was a good match. I know that there's been a lot of trolling and banter on in the media space, social media. But the South Africans put up a gallant fight, and at the time it seemed as if it could go either way. People were afraid of penalties because they said, look, this man has got 4 penalties in one single match. And then, and they said Nwabali had not really been tested. And then it got to penalties, and then the catcher of penalties got none. While our own goalkeeper caught 2 and we're in the final. So let's hope that we go all the way against a team that has been almost nowhere in this competition and is everywhere.
Exactly.
Now they're in the final to go the coast. So running on a lot of luck and all that, but let's hope it happens. So that gives us a bit of good news.
Exactly.
And then your observation was on
my observation was on court ordering the federal government to fix prices of petrol, diesel orders within 7 days.
Yeah, when the courts, this is not a political issue. Someone to believe that this is an objective appraisal of the law for the courts to also look at this. If it were political issues, I would say the courts have proven after all of the last election tribunals address that they don't have much credibility, because even a lot of people prominent people within the judiciary have castigated their own judiciary, which they have been part of all this while. So I think it's a bit strange, really. Like I said, the courts understand the parameters, over which they made this ruling. But for people who respect the rule of law, they must obey the ruling of the court. So the government will have a way around it. They just look for a way around it and tell you that they've obeyed the ruling of the court, and they can just go on with the flow. It's supposed to be a free market economy, essentially. So I think there's a way they can go around it by, allowing prices the way they want to fix it. To fix themselves, and then they will not tell you that they have influenced these prices. Meanwhile, they have allowed a free flow, but they will not tell you that they are back, behind it, and then they have responded to the orders of the courts. Obviously, if you look at even the mechanism for the PIB bill, law, the act itself, it does not allow for the government, to fix these prices, but allows these things to be subject to market, to be driven by market forces, and to fix the prices. So, like I said, the government will always look for a way around it while they still allow these market forces to fix, and then they will tell you when they have been involved in it one way or the other. But they are not going to. That's just what I see it.
Doctor, let's talk about insecurity in the northwest of Nigeria. Kaduna government blames poverty, hopelessness, others for insecurity. Isn't this almost synonymous to when senators said the reason why they're asking for SUVs is because there aren't good roads in Nigeria?
So which one do you want me to say? 1, 2, or...
I want you to juxtapose that and make sense out of that.
On the issue of the Southwest,
yeah,
it's good.
The Northwest.
The Northwest,
yeah.
Government is speaking to its government from the same party and admitting that there's poverty in the land, that there's insecurity in the land. It used to be that, like the proverbial ostrich, heads were buried in the sand, and you pretend that because you cannot see, because your head is down, you are not seeing it, therefore the problem does not exist. That's not true anymore. I'm happy about one thing, that everybody goes to the same market. The trader does not discriminate in favor of one party or the other, or one person or the other. There's no doubt. The one thing that has been consistent, that has never risen, is the salary of the average Nigerian. Everything else has risen. So everything is shrinking and shrinking every day. Let's take the minimum wage, for instance. You say, is it 30 or 35,000?
30,000 is hoping to get to 35,000.
Okay, so if we say 30,000, for instance, what you're talking about here now is less than $25. That's under what do I call it now? It's under $1 a day.
Yeah.
So if you look at, and you're expected to have a minimum of 4 children, I mean a maximum. That's what government recognizes.
Yeah.
A man, a woman. Even the house rent alone, in many places now, you find that even the poorest of places, more than almost half of that now goes into the rent for 1 month. Electricity has gone up, and I wonder, how do people survive? Now, no matter how you support, no matter the smart infrastructure that you are given, so to say, in the Nigerian parlance, the one thing that is clear is that hunger is real. Okay? Hardship is real, and when it hits you, you cannot pretend. You can pretend about any other thing, but you cannot pretend about that. And I think some of these governors are beginning to feel the heat, because when they go out there, I remember the president when he came to the mosque in Lagos.
Yeah.
There was Ibik Bawa, for guests who don't speak Yoruba, say hunger is, how do you say it now? We are hungry, that's to translate.
There's hunger in the land and all.
We are hungry. And these are his key supporters, So when you look at that, it's a reality. And I think a responsible government should listen and should do something about that.
Exactly.
Now, the second point you made, what was that? I wanted you to...
Well, I was asking you, isn't that an excuse, just like our legislators asked for SUVs because they felt there aren't good roads for them to apply on?
Well, it's about the same thing, because it's an admittance of the failure of the system. you know, because when legislators who have the power, they are the ones who make the budget. It's a law. They are the lawmakers. They decide what goes into the budget. They insert everything. But the key and most important things that will make things work. I give an example. You recall that during the last budget defense session when Umahi was before the, I don't know, the Senate committee or before the Senate, you know, distinguished Senator, what's his name, former governor of Edo State, what's his name now?
Oshomole.
Was asking, he said, if you have ever been through that Benin Auchi, that's one of the worst roads in this country today. The entire stretch, a journey that will not take you more than an hour and a half, maximum 2. You will now spend about 7 hours. Not because of but because of bad roads, even with the digressions and all that. And I said, and you're allocating 200 and something million. What will that do? What? I mean, you know, it's like, I don't know if you know what I'm saying. So, I'm bringing out the positive side, which means that they have the power to insert, even if the executive arm does not. They have the power to be able to say, okay, look, change this, and they do it regularly, especially for the constituency budget. These roads are bad. Increase the budget by so much. This and all that. So when senators are beginning to say, give us SUV, it just tells you where their priorities are. It's not the roads. It's their personal comfort. Because they have the power, as we say in Nigeria. They have the yam, they have the knife. They can cut
as much as they want. Exactly.
And let me just add this, add to this. All the things mentioned by the Kaduna State Governor, it was all insecurity and all that, you know, causing what?
Causing insecurity in the country.
And the rest. That's not true. Those are symptoms of insecurity. Those are symptoms of a failure of governance. It's misgovernance that is causing insecurity. So these are symptoms of misgovernance.
Oh, true.
Because once you have good governance, there are certain presuppositions that you provide for employment for the people, that you provide a stable environment, you know, where people's welfare can be taken care of and the rest. So misgovernance has undermined the Nigerian state, every strata of the Nigerian state, and weakened the government and weakened institutions of government. And when institutions of government are weakened, then the state, the system becomes vulnerable to non-negative, non-state actors who have mischief, you know, in mind and have the capacity to carry out whatever mischief they want. So it is misgovernance that is leading to this, and he's a politician, he's an elite, that his group of politicians and elites have led to the problems of this country as a result of the misgovernance that they have imposed on Nigeria. So this is just, you know, what we're putting it is the misgovernance that has created, is the misgovernance that is creating the coups in West Africa, which we don't want to address.
Exactly.
ECOWAS has tried to address the people who have committed the coups, but they don't want to address the people who are creating the environment for under which the coups are taking place. I want to see how ECOWAS is engaging with Macky Sall, whose parliament has now agreed to give him a 10-month extension. So if within that period the soldiers take, you know, action against his government in Senegal, what happens?
Exactly. So lastly, let's go to the Guardian newspaper, and the big story there says court orders the federal government to fix prices. Inflation as agitation heightens. On the downstream of the same newspaper, we have CSOs, eminent citizens flay president, government's use of public funds for private trips. MAN, that's the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, seeks immediate reversal of ban on sachet PET bottles, spirit drinks. Doctor, our president took a French leave, went to France. He's back to Nigeria.
I'm playing with words, but go ahead.
So, CSOs are saying, should those in authority make use of public funds for their private trips?
Okay. Okay, by CSOs, I assume you do not mean chief security.
No, exactly. No.
Society.
You are civil society organizations, so obviously. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so it's ironic, but at the same time, it's not funny. I just remember the president's wife went to donate $100,000 towards the construction of a hospital, supposedly for Nigerians in Sierra Leone, as if Nigerians in Sierra Leone are being discriminated against and they have no hospital, you know? Yeah. And I'm wondering what kind of love. I wish that money had been used here in Lagos where she was a senator.
Not.
She never donated anything like that. Or even a center within, like, if you like what's his name now, the one that donated a maternity ward at last week. Where is him now? Okay, so if they had done that and even named it after her, you know, but now the president is going to France. Of course, let's not deceive ourselves. You cannot say the president should use his private money. It's his government property. Do you understand what I'm saying? The president's health is a priority of the state. So if he goes to France, obviously the state will bear the cost. But I keep asking, I thought COVID taught us a lesson. But alas, no, we never learn. We keep going out there. And you know, incidentally, many of the doctors that treat them out there turn out to be Nigerians and some of the experts.
Exactly.
You know, that and consultants that treat them there end up being Nigerians. You know. So, but what they don't seem to realize is that there are some illnesses that may not even permit even the use of an ambulance. Movement alone will just scatter you. The very pressure in the air and all of that may not favor you. Instead of setting up centers of excellence here and doing everything we can, we are going out there. And guess what? Aisha Seshe is outside of CNN. I don't know why the media we didn't make it an issue out of this. She said Nigerians saved her mother. Instead of going to wait in long queues in the UK or in the US, she brought her mother here. I'm not going to advertise any hospital, but to a private hospital here in Lagos, and she was attended to, treated very well, and her life was saved. She has been singing the praises of Nigerian hospitals and doctors to the highest heaven. That's somebody outside this country. Somebody who has direct and easy access to the best of medical facilities, whether in the UK or in the US. But she saw something the acre of diamond that is in our backyard here, which our leaders are refusing to see. So, if we bring a legislation, they will always find a way around it. So, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I pray that someday, I know people say, why are you talking about prayer and all that, but if you like, call it hope. But I'm hoping and praying, I still pray, that someday, God will have mercy on Nigeria and give us a leader. Because Nigerians don't even want good leaders. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Nigerians themselves don't want good leaders. If you show them one, they see it. Like what happened between Jesus and Barabbas in the Bible. Barabbas, an obvious criminal, was presented by Pilate with Jesus Christ, who was an innocent person, during Passover, which was traditional. It was traditional to release somebody then. But what happened? The Jews, decided that they preferred Barabbas, an obvious criminal, and about Jesus they said, crucify him. You get what I'm trying to say? Nigerians are like those Jews. We will prefer a Barabbas to a Jesus. And so my prayer that God will have mercy on Nigeria and give us a leader.
Mr. Yes. So your last words in 30 seconds. At a time when our president sometimes went abroad and asked Nigerian doctors to come back home because he felt that we needed him here the most. Words on the street say that his private trip to France was for medical tourism. Are we not seeing a hypocritical disposition in the part of
It's the trait of our political class.
seconds, yeah.
It's the trait of our political class, and we have always, said so. They are detached from reality. It's a very selfish class, and and I said, I've always said it's a non-patriotic class. Don't forget, at the time, the former Minister of Labour was saying that we had enough doctors when it was clear that we were having serious patient-to-doctor deficit in Nigeria, in Gige. He said we had enough, that those ones, anybody who wants to leave should leave. And so you see a president who criticized. Look, we need to go back to also understand the level of hypocrisy. You need to go back to before 2015 to remember, or to be reminded of the statements by this president about the government that they took over from the PDP government. Every single thing that they are doing today are the things that they condemned under the PDP government. No wonder somebody said that the more things seem to change, the more they remain the same. It is exactly like that in Nigeria. There is nothing, that has nothing of positive value about the political leadership. So for me, it's not about intention, because it's always about intention. We want to do this, we are going to do this, but it's never about what you have done. So let us wait and watch. People can still, to hold brief for them a bit, we can say, well, that after all, it's a government that is just going to 1 year. So they still have a bit of time. But remember that for Buhari, one day led to 1 month, 1 month led to 6 months, 6 months led to 2 years. Then the first term was over and there was nothing to show for it. Then we entered the second term, and then again till 8 years and nothing was done. So we started the same argument of they don't get time, we never give them time, let us give them time and all that, but that's why it is said that it's in the daytime that you look for the black sheep, so let's look for the black sheep now.
That's at the time. All right, so that's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. I'd love to say thank you to Dr. Victor Ohai for being part of our program today, and also Achike Chude. Thank you so very much. Though we'd love to thank you for remaining with us for conversation. Thank you so very much, sir. All right, so when we return, more protests on the streets of Niger State as food prices soar to high heavens. That in a bit. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.